please. So here we go. We're on.
Good.
Okay, so welcome, Fiona. This is EDU540, semester 1, 2019. I can't believe it. And the first time we've had an intensive for this subject. And it's only a 3-day intensive, effectively, although we had the PD day on Monday. So today was my first day with the intensivites, and we talked about the comparative literature review. And why aren't I able to change the size of that? Ah, I can. We talked about the comparative literature review. We talked very slightly about that, the unit of work. We'll come back to that later in the week. And we talked a fair bit about the interactive teaching module. So I wanted to give you a summary of what was said there, and also to explain that my goal is that this week it would be possible for the intensivites, with the time that they've got aside during the week, to actually complete that, number 1, and get maybe close to completing number 3.
Okay.
But that's not saying you or Angelique, you have to do that by this week.
Yep.
It was simply an opportunity we had to flip the classroom and get some work done that they may not have had the opportunity to do.
Sure.
And lighten the load at the end of semester for them.
Yeah.
That was what the motivation was. So no pressure if you and Angelique don't get there. No pressure at all.
Yep.
So comparative literature review, there was some discussion about whether that's really the best title, because it's a comparative literature review on its own would not be exactly what that is. But I think it's close enough. So what we've been doing, we've been talking about identifying 3 educational thinkers who've influenced our teaching and doing some research into them. I'll do a speech on this, then you can ask me any questions you like, Fiona. Now, depending on who they are, they may have, if you like, produced a particular schooling movement. For example, Montessori schools.
Yep.
It's come out of Mr. Montessori or whoever it was. And those schools today may not look exactly like what their founders imagined. They may have morphed and they may have become something different when it comes to the Australian context, which you've got to sort of mention if you're talking about a school. And then you might, one way of measuring how they appear today is by looking at their school mission on the website, looking at their code of ethics, their philosophies, whatever they happen to say on the website. And I've called those the artifacts of those schools. So I'm not saying it's a strict essay. It's basically what you want to make it, if you like, in 3 parts. The 3 thinkers, the schooling systems that they may or may not have produced, and how they've impacted you as a teacher, and how they are impacting your philosophy.
Sure. Well,
so that's what I try to do.
For me, I've actually finished this assignment. And the only question I had, which might mean I need you to retract it so I could update it before Sunday, was one of the thinkers I used was Neil and the free school movement, which I don't actually agree with, and I would really struggle in a school like that. So I talked about him, and I went and did observation days at a school that runs that way.
Wow.
And then the school was actually established by John Marsden, the author.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just around the corner from my house. I'm going for 2 more days in May. I really want to. I want to embrace it, but I'm very structured, and so I found it quite hard. So my critique of it is quite a bit negative against my personal philosophy. Is that okay? Because it's not. I wasn't sure if you had to agree and align with them.
Well, look, it says So we can be clever here. 3 major educational thinkers
Yeah.
and how they've impacted your teaching.
Yeah. So I pretty much said that I wouldn't want to run a school like that.
That's right. Well, that's an impact on your teaching.
Okay, sure. So then that's fine. The other 2 I chose was Nodding. Is it Pigalle? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Piaget.
Yeah. So, and I absolutely aligned with both of theirs. So I
There
was
you
able
go.
to, and both of them, well, Noddings, she just aligns perfectly with Christian schools because the caring aspect. So the fact that I did teaching rounds at Red Rock, I could easily align those. And
Oh,
the
that's
cognitive
great.
thinking, that was pretty easy to allocate schools to too, because that's what we all do, really, the higher order thinking. So anyway,
Oh, wonderful.
okay.
No, that sounds fantastic.
Okay, good. Thank you.
The word count, I keep stressing to the students that is to stop you doing too much work.
Yeah. I was closer to the top end. I think it was about 1950 maybe. So yeah, I was closer to the top end.
That doesn't matter, but the point is don't do too much because you've got so many work assignments to do.
Yeah.
But to go any depth into these thinkers in 1,800 words for 3 is just impossible.
Yeah, you could write for days.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree.
And hopefully it's the whole point is to stimulate, internal debate.
Yeah.
Because when you're teaching, what opportunity do you have to reflect on all this stuff? You're just running.
Yeah.
And now is your time.
Yeah.
You've got the liberty to actually reflect and think, whoa, why do I do that? Why do I think that?
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of it before. So it's especially A.S. Neil. There's parts of his schools that I do resonate with, and I don't know why. Part of me is very, very systematized, and I think I'm disciplined. I think I am. Other people may not agree. But I do like the idea of play and the idea that learning and life are all one. And
Yes, I can see that.
I love that we're not dissecting a kid's life. And one of the pains I see is when a schooling system puts work as a punishment. And certainly that's not A.S. Neil.
No, he's the complete opposite.
Yes. And I mean, I would love to have been a fly on the wall in his school. All those years ago. It would have been absolutely
I know. Yeah.
Anyway, so that assignment, all singing, all dancing, fantastic. You're done.
Yep. All good. Yeah.
Now this one, the interactive teaching module.
Yeah.
Now I've set up an alternative Moodle shell.
No, I didn't know how to access that. So I saw that said, and I was going to ask you, how do I locate that?
Well, all the others on the intensive found it.
Okay.
Now, if you go to your home, top left on Moodle, you go to home.
Yeah, it might be in there.
You should have all your subjects. I've got this number. But you should have just your subjects that you're enrolled in there.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And do you see one that's EDU540 additional?
I'll go and log in now. Hang on, Harry. I'll just log into my phone so I can keep this up.
Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to my search, EDU540, and that shows me, if I go in that search at the bottom of the front page of Moodle, it shows me all the versions of EDU540 that are on Moodle. And if they're orange, they're live, and if they're, because I'm a teacher, the grey ones are hidden. But so this is the one that we're in, EDU EDU540, semester 119.
Additional interactive teaching model. Yes, I do have
Yes.
it, Jim.
Fantastic. So
Yeah.
click on that,
Yeah.
and you get these
Okay.
jigsaw pieces.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I've got. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now,
Yeah.
in there, you're actually in there as a teacher.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So there you are, Fiona.
Yeah.
And you spelled right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you on a Dell or on an Apple?
PC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dell.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
top right, you should see on this orange bar,
Yeah.
you should see a little pencil in a box.
Yeah.
If you hover on it, it should say turn editing on.
Yeah. Yeah. It did. Yeah.
Okay, so turn editing on,
Yeah.
and then you find yourself
Okay. Yeah. And so
these
you add an
things.
activity or a resource.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, so I would encourage you to play with all these drop downs.
Yeah.
You might use 4 or 5 of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you won't lose all of them.
Yeah.
Now, these are Moodle resources and
Yeah.
activities that you can set up, and you're
Yeah.
supposed to populate your little window
Yeah.
with whatever you like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the beauty of it is that we can all see your work,
Yeah.
and whoever goes in first, nobody has yet, we can see what they're doing. And
Okay.
in the forum here, the class forum,
Yeah.
I would just love, I don't spend long on this, but I would love if people think, yay, this is an absolutely fantastic way of doing something, and you can put it up. People might want to ask you about why you like it, how to make it work for you, what were you doing. So you can have a little discussion with people about how you're populating your bit.
Yep.
I mean, I would think it's probably going to be more other people asking for advice on stuff they've seen other people do.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it's a group project, but totally unstructured.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you sat back and did nothing until deadline, and then populated your stuff, you wouldn't have anybody pinching your ideas.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you do it early, then other people are going to pinch your ideas. Now, I think as a teacher, it's a great thing to share.
Yeah. Collaboration. Yep.
It's what you do as a teacher. So don't see it as a competition. See this as a collaboration.
Yeah. Supporting.
See it as a joint learning exercise.
Yep. Yep.
And tomorrow I'm going to give my intensivites opportunity to get in there and start playing.
Yep. Sure. Yep.
And so as of tomorrow, you should see stuff from
Happening.
Romy, Suban, Lauren,
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, and Darnie.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you see anything from Angelique, I don't know.
Yep. Sure.
So that's what that's for.
Mm-hmm.
So just one other thing I want to say about that didn't work. I need to go back to the ordinary one now. EDU540, and here we go. Now, in here, for this assignment, create an interactive teaching module for group and individual. The idea being that you go to imagine you know who these people are. They're your class.
Yeah.
But they could be operating as a group at home on a weekend, but they're still a group because they're digitally connected to each other.
Yeah.
So the activities you give them could be a group activity, or it could be individual exercises for them to do if they're trying to build up a skill and master a skill that they need to develop. So I'm not restricting, and I'm not too fussed about that. It's interactive teaching module
Mm-hmm.
for a group of people, and bear in mind there will be individual elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
Comprising 5 lessons. Now, I'm not, or equivalent of, so that doesn't mean to say you have to do 5 lessons.
Mm-hmm.
You could actually imagine a mind map with a key question in the middle, and then a bunch of resources all emanating from that central question.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of work that would involve to work through would be equivalent to about 5 lessons worth.
Yeah.
Or at HSC, a week and a half.
Yeah.
That sort of amount of time.
For this one, I was planning to probably use the VCAL numeracy because I need to get my head around that curriculum anyway. So that
cool.
was all, yeah, I was going to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And as I say, if you're not in New South Wales, then you wouldn't look at NESA.
Yeah, of course.
And depending on where you are, you look at your own curriculum.
Yeah.
Write a short reflection on your creative experience. So I'm imagining that when you submit into here, interactive teaching module, that's your cover sheet, 1 page, and 1 page of reflection.
Yeah. We've done that for some of the others. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got to look here at, although this is digital, what worldview is coming through. Now, if you're coming from a Christian worldview, then assess to what degree you believe you've integrated a Christian worldview, or how hard or how easy you found it to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not coming from a Christian worldview, then another faith or another ethos, how is that coming through in what you're trying to achieve in this module?
Mm-hmm.
It says this thing should be web-based. Now, I've given you the Moodle page as your web base, so you don't have to think of another web base.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
With your own Moodle shell to link and your reflections to the process of
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, this stuff here, these are resources to get you thinking about the sorts of issues that come about with online learning.
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage you to dabble in there and see if that can bring you inspiration. One paper I found today, in fact, although I remember I had found it earlier, is this one here, the double flip, applying a flipped learning approach to teacher and improve student satisfaction. Now, that isn't a link, but if you copy paste that into EBSCO, you'll find it.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating paper about an Australian university that is trying to train its teachers, its lecturers, to get away from straight lecturing and get them involved in a really dynamic online learning platform.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some challenges in that paper that, again, might stimulate your thinking for that assignment.
Cool, thank you.
So this website, the Robert Schultz, I can't pronounce it, that one.
Yeah.
I found that a great introduction to flipping the classroom, as in what you might do with online learning.
Yeah.
So the first flip, the second flip, some nice resources in there. I encourage folk to have a look at. So I think that's my bit for now, unless you've got any questions.
I don't think so. I guess the only question on assignment 2, so I've almost finished that. I just need to review and finalise the reference list. Do you have an idea on the split of words between the unit plan and the reflection? I feel like my reflection might be a bit longer than it should be. I'm under the 1,800 words because I've got a lot in the appendix. All the assessment rubrics and those things are in the appendix. I just wasn't sure if you had a thought on what you'd like the split to be.
No, I haven't actually.
Okay. Like I'm probably about 50-50 on the word count, I think.
I really depends what's in your reflection. If your reflection's good and not rambling, then the fact it's longer and your actual unit of work is shorter, is 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, look, they kind of form the same document because the unit plan is just is more dot pointy, and then the reflection gives the detail of why I've chosen resources and the way in which it's going to go. So that's where I was struggling to, but like some other subjects I've done, you know, as you said, it's they've been 1-page reflections. So I've put more detail in the plans. Whereas this one, I don't even know why my reflection just it's just come out a lot longer.
But I think these points after that are actually a bit longer anyway.
Well, that was the other thing. So there was two thinkers that I've brought into my theory, and then I gave more details around how literacy and numeracy can be enhanced in this topic. And I think I've also touched on the cross-curricular stuff in the justification too, from memory.
No, I mean that is reasonably extensive.
Okay, sure.
And I was just talking with the class today about those elements there, and picking up different. See, I've thrown different resources in here.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah,
which you can use as stimulus material to get you thinking on how literacy and numeracy will actually look.
Yeah,
a unit of work, how you've embedded it. How have you embedded that? 21st century education and so on.
Yeah.
So no, if you're comfortable, I'm sure it'll be fun.
Okay, sure, good. Yeah, no, I think that's good.
Okay, Fiona.
Thanks, Tim.
I'll attempt to stop the record.
Sure.